Kris Kristofferson, songwriter, actor, janitor, helicopter pilot, Army Ranger captain, Rhodes Scholar, and alcoholic, has had his songs recorded by over 450 artists. He was 40 years old before he realized his drinking would destroy him, and he stopped drinking in 1976, but not before two failed marriages and three children were left in the path of self-destruction. When his song, Me and Bobby McGee, was recorded by Roger Miller in the late 60s, he found instant success. And with Johnny Cash's recording of Sunday Morning Coming Down, which won the Country Music Song of the Year in 1970, Kris started making enough money off the royalties from his songs to not have to work anymore at the age of 35. You would have thought he would have not needed the booze anymore. On the contrary, with his newfound acting career, his drinking became more of a problem. By the time Kris Kristofferson did the movie A Star Is Born in 1976 with Barbra Streisand, he was drinking a bottle and a half of whiskey or tequila daily and chasing it with a couple of six-packs of beer. The movie played an important role in his eventual recovery from alcoholism, as he portrayed a hard-drinking rock and roll star who eventually died from the disease. Kris drank because he feared getting on stage, and he used alcohol to boost his courage and his ego. This is a very common reason for many young people to begin to drink, to boost their confidence and the natural feelings of insecurity. But these are all the wrong reasons and lead to eventual addiction that leads to self-destruction. Kristofferson wrote many songs during his drinking years, and a lot of them were about having nothing left to lose. He got lucky and admits that he could easily have not survived those years, like his ex-girlfriend, Janis Joplin. She died of an overdose before he ever heard her rendition of his famous song, Me and Bobby McGee. After sobering up, you would have thought Kris's life would have become easier, but he actually had one of the most trying periods of his life during when he was 50 years old, when he was shunned by the film industry for the biggest box office flop in history called Heaven's Gate. His record label also went bankrupt, and he failed to put out any well-received albums. Kris did not let this period start him drinking again. Instead, he found a third wife in 1984 that was 20 years younger. He had 5 children with her and restarted his movie and music career. They moved to a secluded ranch in Hawaii where he was neighbors with Willie Nelson. Now that Kris Kristofferson has finally reached a level of contentment in his life where he can work on his music or take a movie part on his own time, he is able to reflect on the past and offer many words of wisdom he learned along the lonely road back home. Kris's solo album, This Old Road, was well received in 2006 by the critics and is pure Kris Kristofferson. His latest album, Closer to the Bones, also has been successful. Kristofferson says he used to think his legacy would be the songs he wrote, but now he realizes his real legacy are the children that he has raised. He named one of them after Johnny Cash and another after William Blake, the great English poet he revered. Kris still walks the line and is proud to have known Mr. Johnny Cash, who he claims is a biblical character that will never come around again. Kris thought he needed alcohol and drugs to get his creative juices flowing, but he admits later that alcohol started to shut him down mentally and emotionally, and he is now able to write with all his mental faculties, and his creativity has come back in full force. Take a lesson from Kris and don't turn to drugs and alcohol for boosting your confidence or creativity. And if you do, learn to walk the line like Kris did and save yourself before it is too late.